Hello everyone, my name is Alfredo Santana, Chief Operation Officer of Vale Base Metals Business. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to Copper Cliff Mine Complex today. This expansion project will make an important contribution for the future, let me put this that way, of our operation, and I'm pleased you could join us to celebrate this milestone today. I would like to begin with some important safety information. The health and safety is a precondition in Vale and also our core value. This is an active mine, so keep that in mind. And I would like to ask you to wear your PPE during the whole day that we are in this site today. Please be very mindful for footing and be sure to follow the instruction of Vale staff member during your visit. Today, when you checked in, you received a tag and you put your tag in board. So that helps us to keep track where everyone are. So I ask you to be sure when you return to take your tag out, and the team will help you with that. Today also, here in this area, we are allowed to not use hard hat and glasses during the speaking. And during the underground visit, we will not need to use head clamps because it's a special day today. We have everything set up for this visit, okay? Exclusively for today. So your safety is the most important that we have for all the guests, all the employees, and just a quick overview of in case of any problem event. So we will hear an alarm and a horn, like 15 seconds, and then 5 seconds of silence. If we hear that, we all go inside the South Mine Administration building, and in case of and the necessity of evacuation, the Vale employees will guide you to a safe place. Our people are our greatest asset, and we have a number of Copper Cliff Mine operations employees and members of the South Mine project team here with us today. They have been critically important to the successful completion of this project and handover to the operations. I want to thank each one of you for the hard work, dedication. Today would not have been possible without your efforts. We have many dignitaries joining us today, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. Today we have a pleasure to hosting the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, and Honorable George Puri, Ontario Minister of Mines. Joining the Premier and the Minister are the Ontario Deputy Minister of Mines, Ms. Monique Roth von Bonen-Clark, and Assistant Deputy Minister Afsana Carey. Representing Natural Resource Canada, Mr. Jeff Labonte, Assistant Deputy Minister. We also have our local members of the Parliament, Ms. Viviane Lapointe, MP of Sudbury, and Mr. Mark Surrey, MP for Nickel Belt. We are also joined by the members of Provincial Parliament, Mr. James West, MPP for Sudbury, and Ms. France Gelinas, MPP for Nickel Belt. Our industry association partners from Ontario Mining Association, Philippi, and Fontien from Mining Association of Canada are here with us. Welcome. Brian Bigger, Mayor of City of Greater Sudbury. Guima Angus Toulouse and Paul Escagagon, Councillor of the Sagamok First Nation. And Lick LaRoche, President of United Steelworkers, Local 6500. Thank you all for sharing this moment with us, taking part in the opening, the first phase of Copper Cliff Mine South. I'd also would like to thank the members of the media here today. This is an important announcement, not only for Valley, but for our local community as well. So, with that, I would like to introduce Gord Gilpin, Head of Valley's Ontario Operations. Gord will be our MC today. Thank you.
Thanks, Alfredo, and thank you all for coming today to help us celebrate this milestone in the growth of our mining operations in Sudbury. Your time and support is very much appreciated, and trust me, we all understand how tight time can be, so thank you once again for everyone coming out. First, I would like to offer a land acknowledgement. It is important that we acknowledge that we are operating within traditional Indigenous lands in the Sudbury Basin and many other Indigenous communities near our operations across Canada and around the world. Valley Sudbury operations are within the traditional lands of Atikamekw, Anishinaabe First Nation, Wanapate First Nation, Sagamok Anishinaabe First Nation, and Whitefish River First Nation. We also operate within the traditional territory of the Métis Nation of Ontario Region 5. In keeping with Valley's global commitment to Indigenous peoples, we are committed to continuously taking actions that advance our relationship with Indigenous communities near our operations. And now, to start us off in a good way, I've asked Guillemette Toulouse, Chief of Sagamok First Nation, to say a few words and offer an opening prayer.
Miigwech Gord Gokwe miigwech ra mabe de benjget ge nogamanti amonjading abchuganishin ge abed nondmik ge nomande Anishinaabe win chiger go ge kina gibishaik ge nogamanti ge manti we've not chiging sa mabe ge Valley ge nakit asha nakit ge wene samandi wishnaguk ge monagang nikia ge maba sin ge diabe ge apchiga chipiten megaza ge maba sin misha shin en mang go kwena madish bangicha abojo gin de bench gain gigda on deck and indigo chechak ge and odem zgamak Anishinaabe king any and donji said me go nanga gay we been gesh guy gay wene so we sat the mong gay washana kimguk gay mavi gay valley gay monaget gay mandap sin chigergo this gay we been gesh guy gay wene gay we joabak nanga gay wene we joabak gay mamik nakiot gay namkamik gay and kijik Miigwech just to go again the bench gain, Mandagishukat Yam Demong. Miigwech gay to go gay Mandak Ke gay Diabagay Anishinaabe gay Nagduendang. Miigwech gay to go again Manda Nebe gay Mandashkode. Mino Mandi Nodin gay Anishinaabe gay Pitendang gay Nagduendang. Miigwech just to go. But said me go gay we been gesh guy nango gay manti wene we sat the mong gay go. Miigwech just to go. Oh miigwech. Morning everyone. I thank the Creator for bringing us here today. I thank the Creator for the hard work and ensuring the safety of all of us as we go in underground, and the safety of everybody, and the safety of all of the workers that work in this facility and underground anywhere and everywhere. So I thank the Creator for bringing us those blessings and the I would like to say the assurance that he is going to take care of us as we venture underground and as the work continues here, as we move forward with the new operation or with the revamped operation that is here today that we're going to witness. So again, miigwech for all of it, and certainly we're proud to be an IBA holder with Vale through our Totten mine, the Totten mine development, and we continue to build our capacity with Sagmak and Anishinaabe to ensure that we could participate more in the economic activities of the mining industry and the mining world. And we're encouraged by the invite here today that we will continue to work with various mining developments in and around the Sudbury area. And we, again, look forward to the day here today and to see this development and how it is a world-class mining development right here in Sudbury. Miigwech.
Thank you very much, Gima Toulouse. We really appreciate you being here today. We truly value our relationship with Sagamok Anishinaabe First Nation, and we look forward to building that relationship for future generations. I would now like to welcome Deshni Naidu, Executive Vice President of Vale's Base Metals business and CEO of Vale Canada, to deliver a few remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, God, for leading the ceremonies today. And thank you, Gima, for those wonderful words. I definitely felt blessed to be here today. I think it's amazing that as a mining industry, we don't spend enough time in celebrations. And today is a day for exactly that. A little bit of celebration and a lot of appreciation. So I'd like to echo the words that both Alfredo and God have already said in terms of welcoming all of our guests today. And it's not just the many dignitaries that we have, and very nice to see you, Premier Ford, and the rest of the team, but it's fantastic to share this momentous day with all of the men and women that have made this day possible for us. I'd also like to thank everyone for traveling to come to this very special function. I know, for one, from experience, just how busy our days are right now, and it's great to see this many people making the effort. It's also great, Premier, to hear that whilst you were at the airport, you asked more folks to join us. You know, the more the merrier, I say. There is indeed a storied history here in Sudbury, I think both in terms of the operating assets we have and the resources that we have. And that storied history is a story that started off with Inco many years ago, and one that we in Vale have been telling for the last 20+ years. This story, as some of you might have seen in the main office building, spans over 120 years. So who is Vale Canada and what do we do? Well, in the Ontario province, Premier, we have the 5 mines, we have 1 smelter and 2 refineries. This is also the home and the anchor for Vale Canada, because we have our corporate office as well as our world-class research and development center in Mississauga. This is home. Our company is most proud of the number of men and women that we have working with us. And something I wanted to share when I heard both Gord and Alfredo say the same thing about how people are our greatest assets. And every time I go underground, I am most excited about meeting the many men and women that talk about being a 4th generation and a 5th generation Sudburian miner. I'm very, very proud to be leading a business where we can proudly say we have a 5th generation miner. In fact, that's something I'm going to use more often going forward. But in terms of contribution to Ontario, you know, mining is one of the backbones of the economy within Ontario. And we specifically deliver about 25% to the mining sector GDP here. We also support over 13,700 jobs in Ontario. And just looking at the investment, I know we have a storied history, but looking at the investment over the last 12 years, we have alone invested 28.4 billion Canadian dollars. That is exciting. And I think what really makes me excited is not just the what we do, but it's the how. So when I heard, the chief speak, one of the accomplishments that we've had in the recent past is actually the human rights impact assessments that we have done across all of the operations, and also the first ever Indigenous Foundations Cultural Awareness course that was created here. I still need to take the course, but I welcome everyone here to join me to do just that. But what I'm most excited about is not just the 120 years of the history we have, but equally, and maybe a little bit more, about the future that stands in front of us today. So the first phase of this project represents an investment, as you will hear many of us say, of nearly $1 billion Canadian in our Sudbury operations, and which we see as a critical link in enhancing our supply of low-carbon nickel. In fact, our supply of low-carbon minerals as part of the overall critical mineral strategy. This project is one of the enablers that we are working on towards, Premier, as I've heard you often talk about the Driving Prosperity initiative. With the nickel that we produce out of this mine and many of our other mines in Sudbury, it goes straight into, and it will go straight into nickel sulfate and into the EVs produced in Ontario and Greater Canada. And it's incredibly proud for us, and I know because when I go underground, that's something I get asked all the time. Deshni, when are the OEMs coming? When are we going to get charging stations here in Sudbury too? It is on its way. So we are uniquely positioned in Ontario, I think Canada and the globe, to deliver these critical minerals because it is in the ground for us. So maybe what's left to say is that, we are not just excited about this project, which is in fact the landmark, and I think, and as our comms team has so adequately said, this is the project that brings together, through a bit of rejuvenation, the meetings of two significant head frames that do add to the amazing landscape that we have here in Sudbury. But what it does for us, it starts many of the other projects that we have within the region that we will execute. And I was looking at the numbers earlier. What makes this exciting is not just the projects that we are delivering, but year on year we've increased our exploration by over 30% in Ontario alone to make sure that we just don't have a successful pipeline of projects, that we have a successful future because of the pipeline of projects that we are yet to deliver. But it's all about the tons. And if I look at what this project, because of the infrastructure that we have built, will give this region, we will give this region another 23,000 tons of both nickel and copper on an annual basis. But it's not about the what we do, it's the how. And when I look at the safety stats of this project, we worked almost 5 million person hours on the project. And as well as the TRIF rate, that's our total recordable injury frequency rate, not being what I would have wanted to see, which is in the low 2s at least. What I was quite proud of is the team that evolved on our safety performance over the delivery of the project to end the project being over 2 million hours without a single lost time injury. In terms of scope, it's easy to build something and save money, as we need to in business. But again, I was quite encouraged when the teams decided to go for noise reduction in some of the fans to make sure that our communities were actually set up in what we were building. I'm also very proud to say today that Colin and the team have over 14% women working underground. And that was from 4% just over 2 years ago. And that was enabled because this project included the building of several dries as well. So what an amazing dream that we are enabling today. And in keeping with putting people at the center of the business, this project will add another 250 direct permanent jobs to the region. But we all know that the multiplier effect is far more significant than that. But I wouldn't do my job today if I didn't end by thanking the project team. And it's great to see Louise here, who headed this project for us. You know, it was a journey, almost 5 years of getting this to work. And when the team thought they were nearly at the end, we had COVID to deal with. And executing a project through COVID had quite a few learnings that we will hold on to for the next project as well. So with those notes, I'd say that I stand here very proud of what we've achieved. I am really excited about what the future holds, and I believe that we are on the cusp of doing something special in Ontario with the natural resources that we are blessed with, that we are making count within the region. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deshni, and I can tell you we all agree. It's a really exciting time to be in mining in Sudbury and Canada. We are very well positioned to support the future. I'm going to introduce Louise Andrade. Before I do that, I want to echo Alfredo, Deshni, words of thanks to the project team. It was a tremendously massive effort to get this project completed and over the line. Deshni took us through some of the challenges that got in our way. Those are the ones that we talked about. There are many day-to-day challenges, as everyone knows, in the industry. And I can tell you we are very proud of the work that this team did. And thank you. Thank you very much. Also want to thank Colin and the team from CCM for taking on the operation. We're doing great work. We're moving in the right direction. And remember, our most important work is that keeps us and our teammates safe. So with that, to explain the details of the project, I'd like to introduce Louise Andrade, the Copper Cliff Mine South Phase 1 project manager. Louise?
Hello everyone. It's my pleasure to explain the Phase 1 of the Copper Cliff Mine South project to you today. Phase 1 of the project is a 945 million Canadian dollars invested that will deliver 10 million tons of ore over the next 14 years. By uniting the south head frame with the north head frame, we are creating one of the largest underground mine complexes in North America. As Deshni mentioned, it's 12 kilometers from the south shaft to the north shaft on surface. Underground, we have also developed 12 new kilometers of mining drifts, or tunnels, as they commonly refer to. The south shaft was originally sunk in the late 60s and was part of the Sudbury operation until 2009, when economic conditions were not favorable for continuing mining at the site. As such, we flooded it for care and maintenance, proposed economic conditions. Economic conditions improved over time, and we began to study the reopening of South Shaft. Fast forward to 2017, and that's when we began executing on the project. Our early focus was on dewatering the shaft and ramp systems. If you can believe it, it took 4 years of pumping 24 hours per day to the water. During that time, we pumped the equivalent of more than 1,750 Olympic-sized swimming pools out of the mine, and all of which was treated before being discharged into the environment. A key focus of the project was rebuilding the shafts, the south shaft. It took 5 years to be completed and included the installation of 2,600 tons of steel, which is about the same as all of the steel required for the liner of our 380 meters high superstack in the city. The project also included major infrastructure repair and expansions for underground ore and waste handling system. Surface loadout facilities were also constructed. Existing ventilation systems were also expanded and updated with new fresh and exhaust air fans, which we designed to minimize noisy disruption to the local community. It's our quietest fan, that's funny. With a mine this size, we pump a lot of air. In fact, we currently pump the equivalent of air needed to fill 8 hot air balloons underground every minute. Once we reach full capacity, we will be pumping the equivalent of 20 hot air balloons every minute. And behind all of this infrastructure was a fantastic group of people. At peak construction times, we had approximately 700 people working on site. The project has created 270 new jobs for ongoing operations. Our recruitment for new hires had a key focus on improving diversity in the workplace with the introduction of a minor in training program with target women and indigenous people to explore and pursue a career in mining. I'm pleased to report that we have increased the number of women working at Copper Cliff from 4.5 in 2019 to 15 in 2022. Diversity in the workplace is something we are striving to continually improve across our operations, both here in Sudbury and at all our operations around the world. Most importantly, everyone involved on this project is obsessed with safety. The project team did an excellent job navigating through the uncharted complexities of executing a project during a pandemic. Together, through a one-team approach, the project effectively adopted a number of new controls, paired with revised and coordinated work plans to maintain a healthy and safe workplace. Nothing's more important to us than ensuring our workforce returns home safely after each and every shift. And I would like to thank everyone involved in this project for working together to keep one another safe. You have a lot to be proud of here today. And now we have a short video to share with you all about the project.
I decided to do something different. Taking on a career that's filled with excitement, where I feel like I'm part of a team. I enjoy where I work, who I'm working with, and what I'm a part of. The world of mining is changing. There's a transformation happening, and we're ready. I'm ready.
When we embarked on this project, we had an overarching goal of making two frames united into one mining complex. We have the existing operations of the highly successful North Mine, and then we have new life from the old South Mine. Today, as we bring the south headframe back online, we're connecting it to North Mine. With this unified approach, the two mines have become the new Coppercliff Mine Complex. I'm proud of this evolution because the fusion of the two headframes is real and feels very natural with the reality of our operations. We're two headframes, but we're one mine moving forward.
Bringing Coppercliff Mine South back online involves a large capital investment of nearly $1 billion Canadian. It's an older mine site that had been closed for over a decade. By breathing new life in Coppercliff Mine South, we're able to modernize the site and make an important contribution to the future of Vale Sudbury operations. The project team is a group of truly dedicated and passionate people. We have now completed phase 1 of the project. It's been 6 years in the making, involving over 700 people at its peak. Future phases of the project are currently being studied to grow the assets in the future. Today, as we commence operations, we have created 270 new jobs to support this phase of operations, and that's good for the community.
To get to this point was a feat worth celebrating. By the numbers, the project included more than 5 million person hours, 600,000 tons of rock moved, nearly 12 kilometers of development. That's similar to 24 CN towers stacked on top of each other. The installation of an advanced LTE network supports our safe operation and is the backbone to future technology. The new Coppercliff complex will be deploying advanced technology. When many people think of underground mining, they often think of tougher working conditions than you would have experienced on surface. That's changing here, and you can see the transformation daily. We are introducing green energy vehicles at Coppercliff Mine South. Coppercliff Mine Complex is demonstrating what we can do in our operations and setting the gold standard for underground mining here and around the world. The installation of an advanced LTE network supports our safe operation and is the backbone to future technology. In addition, our autonomous vehicles are a strong part of our operations strategy, and we are fully connected 24/7 to Vale's Integrated Remote Operations Center, located in the North Atlantic Operations Center here in Sudbury. We're also introducing a new ventilation system, which provides the latest innovations to ensure we breathe cleaner air underground. And on the surface, it's quieter. It is especially designed to reduce noise so it does not disrupt our neighbors. As we invest in building a mine of the future, we're also investing in our community. The town of Coppercliff has been very supportive of this extension project, having been with us since the very beginning of our operations more than 100 years ago. Our investment in the Coppercliff Mine Complex is centered around our people. Creating a safe work environment is constantly at the forefront of everything we do. We know that behind every life, there are many others.
The Coppercliff Mine Complex will become one of the largest underground mines in North America. It's important to us as employees, our business, and our community.
Great video. Very well done. And once again, thank you to the whole project team. You ought to be proud of yourselves. We're proud of you. Thank you. And to CCM, once again, we're off to a great start. We have a very bright future. You know how important this operation is. Remember the importance of our most important work, always. So, I would like to introduce someone who's no stranger to South Mine and a key partner in our Sudbury operations, Nick La Rochelle, President of the United Steelworkers Local 6500. Nick?
Thank you, Gord. Welcome, everyone. My name is Nick La Rochelle, and I'm President of the United Steelworkers Local 6500. This Saturday marks our 60th anniversary of representing workers, the production and maintenance workers at Inco and now Valley. This is special to me. I worked at South Mine from 1995 until 2006, and as I look around the room, I see a lot of familiar faces, and it's great to be back. South Mine is an awesome mine, and we're looking forward to working together into the future to make this as successful as possible. Something we don't talk about that I want to bring up is there's a lot of work that happened in the background while the project was underway. We had the vice president and the 3 chief stewards working with the company to get all the groundwork laid, to get the equipment and the people here to get South Mine up and running today. So I'd like to give credit to all the work that happens in the background so that today is possible. We have a really bright future in Sudbury, and we're looking forward to making South Mine and all of our operations in Sudbury successful, and we look forward to working with Alfredo, Deshny, and Gord. And like I said, this is a great day to be standing in the head frame. I used to be a cage tender. I used to run that cage. I was part of the shaft crew, so it's exciting to be back here today and see everything back up and operational. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Nick, and we look forward to continue working with yourself and the entire team, USW team. And Nick was a little understated in terms of the work involved moving that many people. He really was. And I also want to extend a big thank you to everybody involved, many, many people involved in making that happen. We learned a lot, but I think overall, at the end of the day, we hit the mark on that. So thank you very much. So I would now like to introduce the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario.
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here, and thank you, Gord and Deshny, and your whole team. It's great, and I always say I love seeing the federal government, the provincial government, the private sector, the municipalities, the union, all working together, and the Indigenous community. Chief, thank you so much, because without the cooperation of everyone, this doesn't happen. It's, again, such a pleasure to be back in Sudbury again, alongside my all-star minister, Minister Peary, and all-star MPP, Kevin Holland. Where's Kevin? Did he make it over here? There you are, Kevin. Good. We picked him up at the airport. That was the guy we picked up. But, you know, when you talk about George Peary and Kevin, George, you're one of the most knowledgeable people that we have down at Queen's Park, understanding the mining, and you're doing a great job. So I want to thank our friends at Valley Mining for hosting us here at this incredible Copper Cliff South Mine site. And I love hearing the stories, how you brought it back into existence and brought it back into life here. And my friends, this is a great day. It's a fabulous day, not only for the people and families here in Sudbury, but for everyone all across Ontario. Because today we take another step forward to achieving Ontario's critical minerals strategy. We put together a great strategy unleashing the potential opportunities and growth and prosperity for everyone across the board, no matter if you're in the mining sector or if you're in the automotive sector, and we're a leader in both around the world. As we celebrate the reopening of Copper Cliff South Mine site, Valley, I should say, is investing almost $1 billion. And you keep hearing that billion, and when I read it, I thought, man, that's a massive investment. So again, thank you to create, they're going to create a new supply hub for low carbon critical minerals here at Copper Cliff. And with that investment comes more than 250 good paying jobs here in Sudbury. Now we say, you know, bigger paychecks, better jobs, so that's fantastic. And again, I want to thank you. This is a big win for the people of Sudbury and for workers across the province as it continues to strengthen Ontario's mining to manufacturing supply chain from north to south. Earlier this year, we launched our government's critical minerals strategy in Thunder Bay. It was the first of its kind and will develop a made-in-Ontario electric vehicle supply chain, and there's nowhere else in the world that can do this, connecting our Northern Ontario mineral resources with Southern Ontario's manufacturing excellence. The technology that will power our future depends on battery minerals like nickel and copper. The critical minerals that will be mined right here at Copper Cliff in Sudbury. And I can assure you folks, we've talked to leaders around the world. They want access to our minerals, but we want to add value to those minerals and turn them into batteries and electric vehicles. Businesses all around the world are searching for the materials needed to support green technology. And they are looking to source, and a reliable source, a responsible source, and a sustainable source. And that's what we're giving them. And I tell them all the time, look no further than right here in Ontario. We're blessed with a wealth of untapped mineral resources from Sudbury to the Ring of Fire and all across Northern Ontario. Last time I counted, I think we have 34 of the most critical minerals anywhere in the world right here in Ontario. But I have to tell you folks, you got to get the government out of the way. We're here to help you, we're here to support you, but we got to knock down the barriers, no matter if it's federal, provincial, or municipal, and unleash the mining sector. They're responsible. They're the most responsible sector anywhere in the world on all fronts. There are tens of billions of dollars of critical minerals waiting to be unlocked. And the most talented workforce, and that's their number one point, that we go around, be it myself, Vic Fideli, George, or our team, we go around the world, and our number one asset are the people in this room. And when it comes to mining, and we have the greatest, the smartest people anywhere in the world right here in Ontario, and I'll put our folks up against anyone. As we unleash our full potential with our critical mineral strategy, we create more economic opportunities and a stronger domestic supply chain for businesses and workers across Ontario. Our strategy will make Ontario a world leader in battery technology and electric vehicles, because the cars of the future will be made right here in Ontario by Ontario workers, and that just puts a smile on my face. It's amazing. And it all starts right here in the mines. And I'm going to tell you a little story. You know, growing up in a family business, a small business, and you know, you have your dad on you, you know, work. But he used to tell myself and my siblings, the toughest job in the world is mining. I have the utmost respect for everyone working in the mines, and that was drilled into us. And my dad would always say, you think this is hard work? Son, I'm going to bring you up to a mine. Then you'll see what real hard work is. So once again, I want to thank you for this tremendous commitment to Ontario and our workers, which I think the world of. We will never, ever let you down. We'll always be there. We're a phone call away, and that's for anyone. I give out my phone number. I'll give you the number later. I think we're on CTV, that everyone knows my number anyways, but you call me if you need any help. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless the great people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Premier Ford. We really appreciate you and your entire team taking the time from your busy schedules to visit Sudbury and our operations today and help us celebrate this important milestone. And on behalf of the team at Vale, we'd like to present you with a commemorative plaque marking the opening of Coppercliff South Mine.
short guy.
So once again, thank you, Premier Ford. And we have these plaques for all of our guests speaking here today, and we will distribute those to you near the end of the event when we resurface. I would now like to introduce the Honourable George Peary, Minister of Mines for the Province of Ontario. Welcome, Minister Peary.
Good afternoon. Wache, bonjour. It's a tremendous honor to be standing here in front of you today with this tremendous accomplishment that we're going to be cutting the ribbon on today. There's been a lot of statistics that have been announced today during this announcement. We've talked about 12 kilometers of drifting. We've talked about joining the North and South Mine Complex, tremendous technical accomplishments that only happen when you put the best and brightest people together from every stripe to make sure this can happen. This was an asset that was closed in 2009, and again, it has been reborn. There's a number of stats talk about the amount of material that will be produced with this, but I'll tell you first and foremost, the most important stat that we have is the fact that this project was completed with 5.6 million hours of safe production. That project was 5 years long, 5.6 million hours of safe production, and on top of that, this complex has been operating for 2.3 million man-hours, with no accidents. Folks, give yourself an applaud. And I'll tell you, when I was running major international corporations, that's the most important stat that you have. There is no success unless you're operating safely. And safely demands that you've got a culture of safety. We had a good conversation with Derek. He'll be standing here someplace, and he talks about the culture of achieving the perfect day and a big part of perfect shift, and a big part of that perfect shift is safety. It means a dedication that's cultural for safety production, that's culturally supported by every single employee. It's a must. You guys have done a fantastic job. Congratulations again. I've been around long enough to know that in Sudbury in the late 60s and the 70s, because I was there, it was viewed as a city that no one wanted to go to. It was black and it was barren, there was hardly trees, the lakes were dead, and then a cable of very dedicated citizens put their heads together and said, we're going to change this. Sudbury at that time was just known as a place that the astronauts were going to practice to land on the moon. And you know what? I think that got everybody's attention. I thought the citizens of Sudbury got angry about that and said, we're going to change this. On back of that, Vale was leading a charge at the time to go from, they were employed 28,000 people, direct employees, and they were going to cut it down to 18,000 in the first phase and then going to 12,000 people because they knew they had to be competitive. Part of that process was building the super stack. A buddy of mine was involved, he was in construction for that super stack, and it was designed, I thought, to sway 5 feet both ways from center, so it swayed 10 feet. And he was on that super stack when it was being built. And I'll tell you, he got off there. I don't think he got back up again because the tornado went through and he got the ride of his life. But, you know, that stack is still standing today. So miners do incredible things. But what's Valley doing right now? They've just invested $1.5 billion, completed investing $1.5 billion to eliminate CO2 and sulfuric acid from that stack. And that speaks to sustainability. They're cleaning up the environment as they have been doing for the last 50 years. They're Inco and Valley, they have been always concerned to ensure that they meet the goals of sustainable development. And sustainable development, as you know, is development that meets the needs of the current citizens without compromising their ability to meet the needs of the future generations. When we first talked about this was in 1987. It was a conference with the UN, and then it was unleashed widely in 1992 at a Rio conference in 1992, sustainable development. And the three pillars are economic, environmental, and social. And the intersection in that Venn diagram is where sustainable development happens, right there. So folks, I'm telling you, 50 years later, in my opinion, that's the definition of sustainable development, and it's done right here in Sudbury. If you think about the legacy of the mining operations as to where they are right now, Sudbury's a beautiful community. It's one of North America's best. And they've done it on the back of people working together with dedicated citizens. When I was first talking about sustainable development, it was a concept that wasn't that was a complex definition, hard to get your head around. But there was one thing that we all understood when we talked about citizens, current citizens. The one demographic that was left out were the Indigenous people. They weren't thought about at all in that time, and I was working with Placer Dome at that time. We had to learn about the Indian Act, and if you don't know about that, you know that's a Canadian piece of legislation that the South Africans picked up and used to develop their laws of apartheid. So when you think about where we've come from that situation, working together with the Indigenous people, then you know how far we've come along to achieving sustainable development. And needs, the definition of needs changes. The needs of the current citizens right now are all about achieving their economic benefits and social programs and environment programs that are carbon-free. So the current needs means we're developing the electric vehicle technology, we're decarbonizing our society. And a big part of that, in fact, it can't happen without mining. The materials that we're mining here in Coppercliff are nickel and copper and cobalt. Absolutely critical minerals if we're going to achieve that revolution in our economy, and they're happening right here in Sudbury. We're the leaders. We're already leaders in miners. We produce over $11 billion worth of economic value through mining, 75,000 direct employees, and now we're leading the future charge into what our economy is going to look like right here with miners here in Sudbury. And on top of that, we're developing the Ring of Fire in full cooperation and partnerships with the Indigenous people so that they achieve economic reconciliation as the way it should happen. Everybody knows when we developed these treaties at the end of last century, the beginning of this century, there was specifically a government employee that was chosen to ensure that the Indigenous people with their reservations did not have any economic ability to within the lands that they chose. So now we practice and ensure that our Indigenous partners are full partners in economic reconciliation, because it must happen. It must happen. So folks, when we're thinking about what the province of Ontario is doing about the future of Ontario, the needs of its future, the needs of its future citizens, we know we're doing it here, this government of Ontario, and we're doing it here in Northern Ontario. It's a vast and magnificent land that has unlimited potential with minerals that are going to be partnering, as the Premier said, with the manufacturing might in Southern Ontario. And we're doing more than that. It'll be processed in Northern Ontario as well. So folks, we've got a magnificent future. Sudbury's got a magnificent future. I'm very happy, because I lived here about 10 years in Sudbury, to be a part of these announcements. Very happy. Folks, you've done a great job. I'm happy to be here. I'm very pleased. It's a magnificent and beautiful land that we live on, and we're all committed to ensure that it stays that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Peary. Real pleasure having our new Minister of Mines joining us here today. Thank you again. I would now like to invite our local members of Parliament, the Honourable Vivian Lapointe, MP for Sudbury, and the Honourable Mark Serre, MP for Nickel Belt, to say a few words together.
Hello, bonjour, Annie, Premier, Minister, welcome to Sudbury, and all of the dignitaries as well. C'est un honneur de me joindre à vous aujourd'hui pour l'inauguration de la mine du complexe Coppercliff. I want to congratulate Vale and the team on their exceptional leadership for bringing these opportunities to our community, to our province, and to our country. We know Canada, and indeed Sudbury, will play a major role in the supply of critical minerals and also in developing advanced technologies value chains. And Canada, as we've heard our dignitaries say, has many advantages. We have a skilled labor workforce, we have a strong environmental framework, just to name a few. The world needs Canada and Sudbury's resources now more than ever. And this summer I had an opportunity to meet with you, Minister, and your passion for all things mining in Ontario and Northern Ontario was readily evident. And I look forward to working with you and making sure Northern Ontario and Sudbury seizes all of those opportunities. As we see here today, it's an exciting time for Sudbury. The Vale Coppercliff Complex South Mine will have a positive and direct impact on the Canadian supply chain for low-carbon critical minerals. The opportunities for long-term economic development and job creation are real, and they are plentiful for our local economy. Je tiens encore une autre fois à souligner le travail dévoué de Vale pour créer un avenir plus vert et plus sain pour les Canadiens. Merci, thank you, miigwech.
Bonjour, good afternoon, Annie. C'est vraiment un grand plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui. Merci de nous avoir invités à l'ouverture officielle ici à Coppercliff. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here. Premier, the last time we met at a mining was in Gogama with the Prime Minister, opening up the I Am Gold. Thank you again for being here, and George, Minister Peary. The passion that we have for Northern Ontario, the partnerships that we have is so important. As indicated earlier, close to 130 years here in Greater Sudbury and Nickel Belt. And also, I always like to speak at a mining event because I'm Mark Serre, the Member of Parliament for Nickel Belt, the coolest riding name in the country related to mining. So when we look at the partnerships, as indicated earlier, when we look at what Vale has done, but when we look at the people, when we look at United Steelworkers, 6,500, and Nick Rachel spoke earlier, the innovation, the skill levels, the technology, the robotics, the engineering that is needed in today's mining world is so important that we deliver for the people of Ontario and Canada. When we look at Vale, as indicated, close to $1 billion. And Premier, they didn't ask the federal government for money. They didn't ask the province for money. They did it by themselves. They did the leadership. When we talk about low-carbon economy, when we look at the mining sector, Vale was the leader back 30 years ago with the acid rain, but also just recently looking at what they've done with the investments that they've done right here in Sudbury. And also, Premier Perry, I want to indicate also There's a lot of good minds in Timmins too. There's a lot of good people in Timmins too. So the partnership that we have, and when we look at Northern Ontario, when we look at the regional cluster, when we look at the ecosystem, when we look at our operating mines that we have here with Valley, we have Glencore, when we look at what is needed to grow jobs, to look at the economy, we look at the operating mines, we have research and development with Laurentian University and all of the colleges and universities across Northern Ontario. When we look at the innovation that Valley has done with local like NORCAT, like SEMI, it's so important. And when we look at the commercialization, Mine Connect, companies, 25,000 jobs, indirect jobs that are outside of the mining operations, engineers and supply and services that sell equipment all over the world. That's so important. And I want to thank Valley and the leadership that you've done to ensure that we build that ecosystem. And the regional cluster here in Northern Ontario is the best in the world, and that's why mining is recognized on the Canadian brand. And when we talk about a Canadian brand, in 2021 we launched a critical minerals strategy. As Premier Ford indicated, that you launched the Ontario strategy in Thunder Bay. How do you link that together? Because the critical minerals are so important. The U.S. does not have it, and they need Canada. They need Ontario. So thank you so much for being here. I'd just like to also acknowledge that we also have the great staff here of NRCan that work closely with the mining industry, work closely with the province of Ontario, and it's great to be here with my colleague Vivienne Lapointe from Sudbury. Together you have 2 MPs in Ottawa that will fight for the mining industry, that will fight for you as workers to ensure that we have a low-carbon economy and a greener future. Alors merci beaucoup. Thank you. Miigwech.
Thank you, Vivian and Mark. Your support is really appreciated. Nice to feel the pride and the support in your voices. I would now like to introduce our local members of Provincial Parliament, the Honourable MPP Jamie West for Sudbury. Welcome back, Jamie. And the Honourable MPP Franz Jean-Lenoff for Nickel Belt. Both are very familiar with our operations, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Jimmy West. Je suis le député provincial de Sudbury.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Annie. My name is France Gelina, and I'm the MPP for Nickel Belt, and I have to do my dad jokes. So it goes, if you came from Southern Ontario, Northern Ontario, west or east, you went through Nickel Belt to get to Sudbury and Coppercliff. So think about Nickel Belt as a donut, and he's the Timbits. Just remember that.
Thank you. This is an absolute honor to be here today, to return. It felt like coming home this morning. It might be because of I had worked at the smelter for 17 years before getting elected, but this morning I was awake at about 4:45, and I think that is that muscle memory of getting to work by 6. You know, earlier today, several of the Valley speakers talked about the value of their employees, the most valuable asset, and I think that the investment in the employees also is a recognition of that as well. I look around the room, and some of the people in the room, Gordon and I worked together probably for 10 years or more. Nick LaRochelle and I worked together on the Health and Safety Executive. And you look at the leadership that's developed out of Valley because of the investment into their people. And it's that value and that investment and following with Life Matters Most. You know, a value that I know Gordon and I share, and Nick as well. But that investment in the employees, that investment in the community is what allows us to do amazing things. We were talking earlier about the Clean Air Project, and developing a project to capture SO2 in the middle of a live operating plant is an amazing thing. And the opening of South Mine is another amazing thing forward. You know, before we got here, France and I, Barry snuck us in the back of the control room, and he was looking at the future plans of the mine. And the future for Valley is exciting. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back home. I want to thank the Premier especially for coming. Last time we were together was to open the gold mine, and it shows the commitment that the provincial government has to mining and the importance of mining in Northern Ontario. I'll hand over to France now. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech.
This is a very happy day. I can remember in 2008 when South Mine closed. It has this feeling in our community. We're a mining community. I'm the MPP for Nickel Belt. What happens in Nickel Belt? We mine nickel, you know, like you don't have to be. And then when a mine closes, and then it gets flooded, and it goes into care and maintenance, you have this little feeling inside that mining is not forever, and my family's a third generation workers for Inco now Valley, and you have this little bit of anguish that comes. And then in 2014, Valley started to look, and then it is happening here today. We are reopening South Mine. We are reopening South Mine with a view of keeping it open for over a decade. New minerals have been found, and mining will continue. I mean, we all know that we have to stop burning fossil fuel. We all know that a big part of doing this is right here, right now. It is to mine those critical minerals, to make the switch. And Sudbury and Ontario, we are at the forefront of all of this. Why? Because we have very smart people like you who are able to move those projects forward, who are able to empty a mine that has been full of water for, like, how do you do all this? I don't know, but you guys do. I'm really proud of all of the work that has brought us to opening up South Mine again today, and very proud of everything that you do through all of your sites that you do to keep your workers safe, to work with your union, to respect 6,500 and include them in what's moving forward, because we all know at the end of the day, it is good people that have brought us to where we are now. So thank you to all of the good people that are here today, all of the good people that have made the opening of South Mine possible. I am proud of you. If I can be helpful or useful, Jamie and I, the Premier, the Minister, everybody, we want to help. Don't hesitate to call. Don't hesitate to reach out. And again, toutes mes félicitations. Congratulations. Chemiwech.
Gord, we did have a scroll to present. We don't know who to give it to.
Do we give it to Gord? Do you want to come up? Just a scroll to mark the day. This is a happy day.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thanks very much, Jamie and Franz. Really appreciate the scroll. You surprised us. Much appreciated. And once again, we really appreciate the strong words of support. And I want to thank Franz for sharing Jamie's nickname. No, thanks, Jamie, for all the work over the years, and thanks for the support. So, I'd like to now introduce Mr. Brian Bigger, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Greater Sudbury, for some final words to our guests today.
Thank you very much, Gord, and thank you very much for coming to Sudbury, Premier Ford. You know, one thing I can say, if you do get the Premier's phone number, he does answer, and he answers very quickly. You know, and I've always been impressed. So, thank you very much for that. I've stepped away from the election here in Sudbury, so I'll be mayor until November 14th. But I can tell you that I've been so proud to advocate for our community, for the mining industry, for all of the expertise, for everyone represented here at this particular event. And Minister Peary, obviously, we've worked closely together as mayors in representing Northern Ontario and advocating for all of the industry and for the North as well. And so, thank you for having an open door and me feeling welcome to speak with you anytime, and I really do appreciate that as well. Thank you for the whole project team here for all of the work that you've accomplished. This must be such a great feeling to now have this grand opening after so many years. It was mentioned 2014. Well, 2014 was the first year is when I was actually elected as mayor. And so for me, this has been a long time coming. And I know that in the industry, there were many challenges. 2016 was a year of reflection in the mining industry where I felt the mining everywhere around the globe stepped back and went, what's happening with this critical minerals and battery technology? Where is the world going? And in fact, pulled back on all their capital investment. And so even this project probably was a bit of a concern at that point in time, saying, where are we going? And it was such a great feeling as mayor to know that Vale chose Greater Sudbury and the future of Greater Sudbury. Now, it's no coincidence, being mayor, I understand, and you all understand here, that Sudbury truly is the global center of expertise for hard rock mining. There's no better place in the world to get an answer to any kind of challenge you might have in hard rock underground mining than in Sudbury. And the exceptional difference here in Sudbury is the people. And also the willingness to collaborate. Somebody mentioned the multiplier. So, if you're talking 270 new jobs, well-paying jobs in Sudbury, Mr. Premier, Mr. Minister, our multiplier is somewhere between 3 to 5 times the number of people working in mining service and supply. And so, as mayor, I think this fits perfectly with the strategy of the province to invest in housing. How do we grow our workforce instantly by 1,000 people that are skilled in mining? We need to build probably 1,500 to 2,000 homes. And so the investments in housing, the investments in the north will open up your critical mineral strategy like you've never seen before. These employees are very important to the prosperity of both the mining companies and all of the mining service supplies, and that multiplier that has been mentioned. This is, as I say, is a very proud moment. It's a little bit bittersweet for me because as mayor, I'm not sure the next time I'll get to go underground, and it's always been a highlight of mine to go underground. So, rather than going on longer here, I think everybody's anxious to get to go underground, and so I'll leave it at that. Just with a couple more statistics, because you've been inundated with statistics. One thing that really changed, and I'm trying to get the number confirmed. I haven't got it confirmed yet, but I think I've heard as mayor in all of these different presentations, in a conventional mine with diesel equipment, for every ton of ore, so feel a piece of ore in your hand. For every ton of ore, the miners have to move 80 tons of air to clear the diesel fumes so people can work underground. The technology that they're working on here that you'll be able to see is taking people away from the dangerous parts of mining, working with autonomous equipment and leading edge technologies. And it's also better for the environment because they don't need the same amount of energy to either move air, heat it, cool it, And for me, that's why I really understood the impact of the technologies being developed here in Greater Sudbury and around the world, but we are truly leaders in that technology. The other thing, the last point I'll make is it's hard to visualize, and I've asked many times. I believe this number was confirmed today by somebody who knows. And underground, after 120 years of mining, there is 5,000 kilometers of mine drifts under Sudbury. So get in your car, drive to Vancouver. When you see a mine drift, that's how much ore has been extracted from Sudbury over the last 120 years. So I'll leave you with that. That is, and it's safe. We're not, nothing's collapsing. Everything is safe, but just to say that that's the extent of work that has been done in Sudbury. And Vallée has invested in Snow Lab. The federal government just recently invested $100 million additional money in Snow Lab. That mine in Creighton has been operating for 120 years. Sudbury is exceptional in so many different ways. And everyone that understands the mining industry understands that there is a long and great future in Sudbury. If we can, as I say, build the housing, invest in Sudbury, invest in Northern Ontario, because Greater Sudbury is critical to the critical mining strategy of both the province and of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bigger, for very, very supportive words. Thank you. I would now like to invite all of our speakers up to, and Colin Pegues, the manager of Coppercliff Mine Complex, to help us cut this ribbon to mark the official reopening of Coppercliff South Mine.